a good situation. But shout out to Justin Fields too. Don't play with Justin. Like, obviously he's been, we know the headlines. We've seen the crazy exotic plays from him. And yes, we all obviously know that there is some context to that. We've also seen some of the not so savory plays as well. But as a whole, man, it is fun to like have that type of excitement happening right now. Like, you watch this kid pull it down, run him like, oof. Yeah, that would have been that's 20. That's legit. That's legit. Then you watch him teardrop the thumb like, oof. All right, I like that. But the big thing is consistency.
I was going to say, did he have 2 fumbles today?
That's what they said. Yeah.
Says.
He had the fumbles and he had the pick yesterday. Nobody's going to be perfect, and especially him, but that's part of why he is who he is.
It seems like we're getting the Justin Fields experience right now.
You see how high-end he can be at times, but then you also can see some of the little details that he has to be cleaned up on. That's Justin Fields, though, man. But that's why he is who he is right now, league-wide. He is a lightning rod because you see the same clips that I've seen. And to look at them clips and to not act like this dude has the potential to be one of them, that's the part. But then the flip side is you see some of the bad plays.
He had a really cool Mahomes-esque sidearm throw to Pickens. It was really cool.
Yeah. And then you'll have some of the plays where it's like, yo, why that one? But that's him, and that's what we're hoping that we can get cleaned up out of him, and hopefully this new experience for him will benefit him because he's never been in a quarterback competition, league-wide at least. He's never had a vet in his room like a Russell Wilson before. And I just think across the board, both of those things, man, are going to benefit him because it's going to make him prepare with an edge every single time. It's going to make him show up to practice knowing that every rep matters. And essentially, the longer Russ has waited to get fully, implemented into the team and being back from his calf injury, those are great opportunities for Justin to show that, yeah, if I'm franchise quarterback, this is what it's going to look like, man. If you want to see what a leader looks like, let me show you this. And I think that's a benefit for him, but Russ is coming, man. Russ is getting ready, getting out, and that's just going to continue to pick up for him. So that's the part for Fields where it's like those other plays that are exciting are great, but you're not going to be able to have all of the little stuff, like you talked about the multiple fumbles or the pick. That type of stuff is going to hurt you versus a Russ. Russ might not give you the super, super high-end sexy that Fields gives you, but Russ isn't going to give you some of that, like, bad that we can see with Fields as well. And that's the part where it's going to come down to that personal preference for the coach. Hey, man, do I want to go with this that's a little bit safer here, higher floor, but maybe not as elite in terms of the skill, or do I go with the lightning rod? He can give me this, or he going to give me that. But that's the thing right now, man. But definitely an exciting time, bro.
Yeah, with Russ sitting out pretty much these first 6 practices. I know he ramped it up a little bit more yesterday and today, but he's still been limited.
You know why he had to do it today, though?
Mr. Unlimited has been limited.
You know why he was out there today, though, doing what he did today,
I don't know what happened today.
Come on, bro. The goodies was there.
Sierra was there?
My goodies. It's my goodies. Not my goodies. Yeah, bro. So, when wifey show up, you got a ball. You got to put on. It's been times I ain't want to practice.
I'm not wrong. He was still limited today.
He was. But it doesn't matter because wifey was there. You know what I mean? His wifey was there, so he was ready. He showed up. This back-to-back days of him actually taking reps. That's the part that I do like. Because prior to that, he wasn't even doing indie. He was, with the baseball cap on, just kind of walking around. So at least now we have him fully dressed. He was taking he did individual yesterday, waiting to get the full details of everything that he did today. But for him, man, we know this isn't as important for him because of his cachet and what he's already proven to, his floor to be, so to speak. But at the same time, he is in a competition. So that's
I was going to say, it's still a little important because it's a new team for both of these guys.
It's a competition, yeah. And he's still having to show this new staff that, hey, this is what I look like in pads also. This is what I look like after multiple days in training camp. This is what I look like when I'm fatigued. This is what I look like when I'm stressed out. He still has to build that rapport and that trust with the Steelers. I'm just saying, from a league perspective, Russell Wilson is up here in terms of his respect from players. You might not like him personality-wise. Is he too good? He's two shoes, that type of stuff. But in terms of on-the-field play, he's up here in terms of respect where we're not asking a ton of questions. Yeah, he's the first guy in, last guy out. They talk about even when he wasn't practicing taking reps, 6 o'clock at night, He's out there on the field, the same thing we joked about him doing in the stadium, doing the whole play script by himself. He's doing that every day, bro. So when you talk about leadership, you talk about hard work, and when you talk about that, we know we haven't had that in a while. And to see the quarterback being the one that's kind of spearheading that type of, I'm going to be the one that stays super late. I'm going to be the one that's going to be the first one there. It does set a certain trajectory for your team. And I think that that's also going to benefit these dudes. But he got to be careful, man, because Fields is going to push him, bro.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like,
Fields
with how these last 6 days have went and Fields getting all these QB1 reps, I feel like the door has been opened a little bit. Or at least it's been more open than it's ever it's ever been this offseason in terms of, like, could Fields actually be QB1? Like, does he have an actual chance?
My question to you is this.
But I was just going to say, I was thinking that more yesterday. Now I'm hearing in the chat, Fields had a couple fumbles today. It's like almost the Fields' inconsistencies are the things that are going to hurt him right here, as opposed to Russ even being out there and Russ proving things himself. It could just be Fields giving that Justin Fields experience, the up and down play, and then you know what you're getting from Russ. You know the steady level play that you're getting from him. But then back to your point, he does still need to show it here because this is a new environment, new system, new coordinator, new teammate, all that stuff. Like if he keeps sitting out and all this limited practice and stuff, it's like, man, and don't leave the door too open here. Because we see what Fields is capable of, but then, like I said, if Fields keeps playing like he is, he's hurting himself in a way. Like, we're seeing the highlights, we're seeing the great stuff, but then the inconsistency, like, I can't count on that for week 1. I can't count on that in regular season.
I like
I'll bet
training
on
camp
Russ
because of this. We've had the opportunity to see OTAs and see these type of practices and see both of these dudes. This is the first time that fans have had the opportunity to see it in a practice setting. But the almighty power of social media has morphed how people are viewing the competition. I mean, you kind of said it yourself right there. Man, I'm seeing these plays. As he closed the gap, I'm seeing these plays. Man, can he really do it? And you think about the first OTA practice we came back from, me and TG both said the same thing. Bro, Fields does some electric stuff. But then he does some stuff where you like, I don't know if that's going to work. Then you look at Russ and we say, that's the professional quarterback. That's not the great athlete. That's the professional quarterback. He doesn't wow you every time, but that's the professional Super Bowl winning quarterback. And it's clear just in terms of watching them both stylistically. But once again, the reason why Justin Fields is who he is league-wide, the reason why Chicago is still back and forth on if they should keep him or move on to Caleb Williams, right? The reason why we were even talking about this dude is because of this. He can be wildly exciting, man. Some of that stuff is undeniable. You're like, bro, if you're doing that, how do you not be a top 5 quarterback? But he still has to clean up some of that other stuff. And I think that's going to be the theme throughout this training camp setting, especially when we get to these preseason games. Now, and this is kind of where I'm at with Russ availability, Fields practicing, and how I think it could go. I don't think Russ can lose his job as the starting quarterback based off of the practice reps. I think the way that Russ would talk like week 1, because if they make the switch in season, I think it's because of performance, right? Games are going. But in terms of Russ to not have it by week 1, it's going to have to be Phil showing up in these preseason games. I think the practices are cool. I think it's a dope situation. But for Russ, we know we've seen Russ too much in games make plays. And not just regular season games. We've seen him in the postseason make plays. I think that that's the one part that, as exciting as Fields is, as up and down as it is, I need to still see that translate to actual in-game complete performances that resonate and turn into wins, not moments. And throughout his career thus far, he's had moments.
Absolutely.
And even in training camp, we've seen moments. But we haven't seen a consistent start to finish like we've seen from Russ countless times. Even on Russ's down year, right? If we want to say Russ's worst year of his career was last year, still look at that year and look at that in comparison to some of how erratic Justin Fields has been throughout his. And that's why everybody is so all over the place a little bit with these two guys. Because one, you might say, I'm not saying he's boring in terms of Russ, but he's a little bit more put together, not as this highly exciting.
That's the weird thing, though.
But he has moments, though.
I was going to say, he is an exciting player. I just think he's old.
He's older.
I think people take some of the older players for granted. Like
I would
even
agree.
Aaron Rodgers coming in this year.
Yeah.
People are just viewing him as an afterthought. That's Aaron Rodgers, man.
I'm with you, bro.
Even Tom Brady in his late stages. Obviously, we know Steeler Nation was disrespecting Ben all over the place his last couple of years. But yeah, I think that happens with older players, older great players. People just, for whatever reason, want to overlook them. But my message is don't overlook that greatness, because I think that greatness that Russell Wilson has, that Hall of Fame pedigree, that's something you can rely on coming into this season. It's just, some of the stuff with Fields, man, like it is exciting. Like that's the point you're bringing up here. Like you could see the vision for this offense with Arthur Smith, some of the read options. Like
Bro,
you could see how it could really work.
Where Fields pulls it on the left side, he darts up with. I'm like, bro, Russ can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's the part that makes Fields exciting.
Yeah,
when the play breaks down,
you get 20 yards in a snap of a finger.
And it's like a smooth. He's not even trying hard. You're like, bro. But when we said, he's that type of athlete, now you're kind of getting a chance to see it. It's like, bro, that's different. That burst, that's different. Even when he flicks his wrist at times, it's like, when you read it, you throw it who you throw it to. Hey, bro, that's different. But once again, consistency. But I think it's a dope scenario, man, that the Steelers have done in terms of getting both of those guys here. Like, I think both of them are going to continue to push each other in multiple ways. And I think that just for the team itself, we're all going to benefit from that, man.
Yeah. Because it was curious to me as to why Russ was getting held out, too, for these first 4 sessions and then ultimately 6 in this, limited way. Because Russ was saying he was good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, all right, Tomlin
create the adversity, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, Tomlin said it was his decision ultimately to
and being a
hold
little
Russ
cautious,
out.
he said, too.
Yeah, being cautious. But then I'm like, all right, is this Tomlin saying to Russ, I really believe in you, like don't worry about it, or is he just like, all right, hey, you're not available, or like I don't want to risk it with you. I'm really interested in this Justin Fields guy. Like, let's see what he's got. Maybe this is going to be a little bit more of an open competition than what we were leading on. My
question is, why can't both of those things be true?
It might be.
Because,
then, like I said, Fields is screwing himself with some of these inconsistencies.
But as a coach, this gives you the chance to see both of those things happen. If Russ is out here the whole time, I don't necessarily get a chance to have Fields out here without having to look over his shoulder for multiple days and to see how he responds when he feels like, hey, I don't have that guy taking those reps the same time I'm taking my reps. How does he respond? Can he consistently put together high-end performances also? Played well. Can he do it again? Also, Team USA just won 103-86. I know you were concerned. I know you were nervous when it got to like 12. I know that. But they won 103-86. All right, Deke.
Good win.
USA! 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 Shout out to Team USA, bro. Like I said, man, we ain't on that panicky stuff, man. It's America. All right? And guess what? Guess what's tomorrow? Guess what's tomorrow, man? Deke, guess what's tomorrow, man?
I don't know.
Come on, man. We doing it again, but with the ladies this time, all right? So you know we turned up, man. That way you definitely ain't got a trip. I promise you. They're going to be like 50, all right? It's ridiculous with them. But yeah, baby. Come on now. All right. But going back, though, to the Russ in the field situation, man, like I said, I just think for Coach Tomlin, you get best of both worlds with how it's playing out right now. You know Russ' injury isn't significant. It's a strain of the calf that he got pushing a sled on the conditioning test. That's a whole nother situation if we were to talk about that.
Yeah,
but,
that's stupid.
Yeah, but we got new strength coaches. Young guys coming from collegiate ranks. It's just a different mentality, and at times it's a learning process for everybody. So for the coach, I'm sure he's going to learn from this. And yeah, for the team, hopefully they will show some grace, because yeah, I was like, yo, y'all are wilding, bro. It's no way y'all had that man pushing the sled, bro. Y'all are wilding. But with this though, like I said, Russ, he has to sit there and feel uncomfortable. When you're not practicing, but everybody believes that you're supposed to be the guy, you should feel uncomfortable. Russ is one of them type of dudes who's going to feel uncomfortable. He's going to be eager to get back out there, and that's why he does all the extra, showing up early, staying after late. That's a part of it. But for Fields, like I said, it does give him this chance, man. Great opportunity for him.
Yeah, because I feel like it didn't mean nothing. Because if you're getting both quarterbacks, new team, new system, all that stuff. If he's getting all those QB1 reps and he's doing good, and a lot of the reports were Fields has looked good, but you're right, some of those inconsistencies popped up. Like, it's different just one day. It's just the first day. Russ, you could take a seat, but then he's back out there day 2, full participant, everything. Like, this was 5 days going on. It was 6
the
days.
First week, and the main pad practice you're limited. The second pad practice you're still limited. So yeah,
like Russ, he wants to build chemistry with this squad. He wants to showcase his leadership, showcase that veteran presence, and like you're not able to fully do that if you're not out there participating in 100% manner. But I like some of the stuff that you brought up. Like, he's taking every opportunity outside of practice to put that on display.
And that's the part where you're like, yo, if you can't give me this, show me you got everything else. And Russ has been doing that. And he's also been supportive of Justin Fields. That's the other thing that I do like, and that's why I say Russ is like the true pro, because you also can see Russ communicating with Fields, giving him little pointers and tips. And in a competition, that is not always easy to do. But for Russ, he's handling this in a very mature sense. But Russ has been in competitions before, so I think maybe it's his experience. Yeah,
or full faith in himself.
That too, because I'm like
tapping into that mentality he had coming out as a 3rd-round pick, going into Seattle.
Seriously, bro.
That's what he said. He was like, "I'm gonna win this job."
Yeah.
Up against Matt Flynn. I don't know. Was it Tavares Jackson?
It was Tavares Jackson and Matt Flynn. RP to T-Jack, but yeah, man.
He did. Won it out.
And that's the one thing that I say, man. Like, love him, hate him, however you feel about him as a person, cool. But on the field, nothing but respect. Because what he had to walk into and then what he's been able to grow and develop into, that doesn't happen, man. And that's the same way we look at a Brady, we look at an AB, because those dudes were late, forgotten about, so to speak, but have risen to levels where it's like, nah, man, you're forever going to be talked about in the National Football League. That's Russ, man. So salute to him. But like I said, hopefully for Fields, man, it'll rub off on him as well, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't underestimate that stuff that Russ got. The heart of a champion. Like,
and he got plenty to prove.
He's not a 9-time Pro Bowler.
He got stuff to prove
Super
too,
Bowl
bro.
Champion for nothing. Franchise quarterback for Seattle for a decade plus. Like, that just didn't happen out of nowhere.
And think about this also, Deke. How many people are still going to be criticizing, does he still have it because of what happened in Denver? It's people on our chat every single time we get up here to say, man, if Russ is that good, why they get rid of him in Denver? Why Denver ain't want him? So he also has the skeptics that he wants to, reprove it to let him know or let them know that, yeah, he's still like that. It might not be the absolute best version of him, but in his eyes, he's not far off from that. And I think that that's going to be cool for us to, hopefully see this year as well.
The thing is, I'm not making this decision. And that's why I was also curious how much Tomlin and the coaching staff, or like an Arthur Smith, valued that stuff that Russ brings to the table versus the intangibles that Justin Fields has, like the athleticism and all that type of stuff. But it seems like, I listened to one of Tomlin's interviews yesterday. It seems like he is very cognizant of that type of stuff and what Russ brings to the table from that standpoint.
Because all that matters when you're talking about winning.
Yeah,
Not making
exactly.
plays, winning.
Yep.
Fields makes plays. Russ wins.
And that's what I've been saying the whole offseason. If I had to bet money for a quarterback to win us the most games this year, it's Russell Wilson.
And teams don't win in spite of Russ. They typically win because of Russ. Same when we talk about 7. We weren't winning in spite of 7. We were winning because of 7. Same when we talk about Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. Russ has put himself in that category and has been there for a long time. And I just think that for us, that's going to be exciting to have. But I think for Fields, it's going to be also cool for him to compete against, because Fields right now hasn't resulted in a ton of wins. But you can go on YouTube, baby, like all of us, and the amount of highlight plays is ridiculous at times. But with him, we're trying to get that to be less highlight and more consistent quarterback play, with still some of that, but more of the consistency. And like I said, man, a dude like Russ could make Fields elevate to that point, because he's going to be challenged in ways that he's never been challenged professionally. And if he doesn't want to turn his career from being the franchise quarterback to a career backup quarterback, this is the part where you learn a little bit, but you also got to make sure that you're elevating and continuing to get better each day.
Yeah, combine that talent with winning games. Like, it's not necessarily all about the big throws and the splash plays and stuff. It's like there's an art to it.
Yeah.
There's an ebb and a flow of being a quarterback, and I don't think Justin Fields obviously hasn't gathered that.
Hasn't mastered it yet.
Yeah, he hasn't gathered that completely, because he wouldn't be on his second team already in 3 years in the league.
After being a first-round pick.
That's not the end-all be-all, though, either. I brought up the Joe Montana, Steve Young example. Steve Young, first couple of years with the Buccaneers, talented guy, but wasn't that good. And he goes to the 49ers, backs up Joe Montana, and you see what that did for him. Those, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years backing up Montana, led Young to having a Hall of Fame career on the back half. I'm not saying Fields should be cool with sitting behind Russ for that long. It's a different day and age. But it's at least
saying that, hey, man, there is a pathway that does work for you in this current situation.
If you don't start week 1 this season, if you have to back up Russ the whole season, learn from that, man. Like, learn from it. And hopefully Russ plays good, and there's tidbits from his game. There's the ways that Russ has shown you, like, how to win, how to figure out the art of quarterbacking and whatnot that Fields can take. And maybe it's with us, maybe it's with another team, but I think that it's a huge opportunity in front of him, no matter what, one way or another, whether he starts or he's the backup. If he beats out Russ this offseason somehow, some way, or he's just chilling, you could learn a lot.
Yeah.